One of the most profound questions in our lives in the story of human thought in art and philosophy is how we come to truly know ourselves, how we determine our values, and how we ultimately discover meaning in life. To explore this, we must turn to the writings of Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most influential minds in all of philosophy, and an early voice of existentialism. Nietzsche is famously known for his radical views on religion and morality. Despite the controversy surrounding his work, he demonstrated exceptional insight into the depths of human psychology, offering principles on how people can take ownership of their identity and shape their future. Nietzsche authored numerous works, and his ideas have left a lasting impact on countless individuals, ranging from therapists to writers, from performers to political thinkers. In Nietzsche's view, the pursuit of the self is one of life's central missions. So here are 4 ideas drawn from Nietzsche's philosophy that can guide you towards self-discovery and help you move closer to becoming your truest self. Nietzsche once wrote, "What we've called universal values, what we've called truth, has always only ever been the personal expressions of those who promoted them." Nietzsche believed that rigid social rules give rise to what he called herd mentality. Much like a herd of animals, such mentality prizes uniformity, safety, and the survival of the group. Similarly, the moral systems in society were created by individuals and imposed on the population to control behavior. While these systems may keep some destructive urges in check, they also suppress individuality and personal expression. Worse still, the rigid moral judgments that arise from these systems can drive people to rebel in dangerous ways. When societal expectations become too harsh and overbearing, the resulting backlash can be equally extreme. If society's moral code allows for flexibility, then those who dissent can push for change without resorting to hostility. But more often than not, the moral standards we're taught are presented in a strict and inflexible way. It isn't just schools, religions, or governments that enforce this. It's also ordinary people who fear social rejection and want to blend in. As a result, anyone who deviates too much from the norm is seen as threatening or even dangerous. It's a known fact that people fear what they don't understand, and that fear plays out in this social dynamic. We see it again and again throughout history and in our daily lives. Whether during the medieval period or the present day, this tension between conformity and individuality is always there. It's no different from when Galileo was persecuted for challenging dogma, or when you or someone else in school was mocked for being different. These are just modern versions of the same conflict. The herd is made up of those who have abandoned their ambitions, dreams, and originality. People who feel threatened by anyone who hasn't. They fear change because it reminds them of their own unfulfilled potential. While that realization can be painful, those on a path of self-development must resist being held back by others' failures. You must walk your own path separate from the herd and let your light shine so brightly that it can't be ignored. That journey begins by silencing the critical voices you internalized as a child. Whether it was a discouraging parent, a harsh teacher, or a controlling partner, their limitations don't belong to you. Often, they tried to hold you back out of fear that your success would expose their own shortcomings. Their goal was to stifle your uniqueness and pull you back into the fold. To stand apart, you'll need resilience and bravery. The fear of stepping outside your comfort zone is natural, but it's a crucial step toward realizing your authentic self. Nietzsche, no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Our basic impulse is to avoid discomfort and pain. In today's world, where convenience and speed dominate, we've grown entitled, and we forget that suffering is a natural part of the human experience. But Nietzsche argued that facing hardship is what allows us to grow on a deeper level. In 1873, at just 29 years old, Nietzsche wrote an essay called Schopenhauer as Educator, where he tackled the question of self-discovery. He believed that to reach one's full potential, a person must follow a difficult path, one that often requires solitude. Being alone is not easy, but it's a price worth paying to gain control over your life. To resist the influence of the collective, you must seek independence, even if that invites struggle. You must reject the easy way out and dedicate yourself to gaining the freedom to be who you truly are, even when it's scary. True freedom also means being free from your base impulses, being in charge of your emotions rather than letting them control you. When you feel a strong emotional urge, say a desire to lash out or complain, pause and become aware of it before deciding whether or not to act. This idea may sound similar to the advice of modern motivational speakers, but Nietzsche's view goes much deeper. While self-help gurus often focus on confidence and achievement for external success, Nietzsche focused inward. He believed the real struggle was to understand your inner self and that required sacrifice. For instance, where a motivational speaker might encourage confidence to attract investors or friends, Nietzsche would ask you to examine why you crave that confidence in the first place. You might realize it stems from wanting to impress others or prove something to society. Recognizing that could shift your focus toward deeper priorities, like self-knowledge. That journey may come at a price. Choosing not to compromise might put you at odds with others. You might have to change your way of life, end relationships, and confront the shadows of your own mind. You'll have to face fears and analyze your darkest emotions to rise above them. Nietzsche urges us to confront our demons, not banish them, because in understanding them, we discover purpose. Go out and experience the world. Allow yourself to face temptation, but stay self-aware. Only through that kind of experience can you emerge stronger and more defined. If you avoid life's challenges, you haven't truly lived. Your capacity to grow depends on how much you're willing to sacrifice. To avoid drifting aimlessly, you must learn how to connect with your inner genius. And that means walking a road only you can walk because no one else is you. To find yourself is to discover the passions and values that are truly yours. Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why can bear almost any how." His philosophy tells us to affirm what gives us meaning, whatever that may be. In earlier centuries, people found purpose in religion. But in a world that's increasingly scientific and secular, Nietzsche believed we could no longer rely on religion to supply that meaning. He feared that without it, many would fall into nihilism, a bleak condition where people feel indifferent and fail to seek meaning at all. To avoid this, Nietzsche offered 3 paths toward meaning. The first is through the humanities, philosophy, music, literature, art, and theater. These aren't just entertainment or academic subjects. They're tools for making sense of our suffering, for understanding our place in the world, and for relating to the universal human experience. If we approach them not as trivia, but as guides for life, they can offer perspective. Studying history shouldn't just be about memorizing facts, but about understanding what those facts reveal. Watching tragedies should be about recognizing the beauty and sorrow, not simply watching for pleasure. But maybe you're not drawn to the humanities. In that case, Nietzsche suggested a second option, becoming the Übermensch. The Übermensch is a higher type of human who creates meaning and values for themselves rather than borrowing from others. They overcome the problem of purpose by inventing their own and fully owning it. Nietzsche believed that only a few in history came close to embodying this ideal. Figures like Caesar, Napoleon, Buddha, and Goethe. While most of us might not become such giants, we can take inspiration from them. Nietzsche encouraged us to reflect deeply on what we truly care about, not what we've been taught to value, but what resonates with us personally. Human development, in Nietzsche's view, is an unfolding story, and we each have a role in shaping it. If that sounds too lofty, Nietzsche's third approach to meaning may be more accessible. It's the concept of Amor Fati, the love of one's fate. This idea is about embracing everything that has happened to you, both joyful and painful. Amor Fati means loving your entire life, the mistakes, the heartbreaks, the failures, as necessary components of who you are today. When you take risks in trying to shape your life, you will inevitably fail at times. But if you can look at those failures and still feel appreciation for your journey, then you've rekindled a love for life itself. Even your darkest moments can hold meaning when you see them as essential chapters in your story. Nietzsche posed this chilling question. What if some day or night a demon were to steal after you into your loneliest? loneliness and say to you, this life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more, and innumerable times more. Would you not throw yourself down and gnash your teeth and curse the demon who spoke thus? In this scenario, Nietzsche isn't describing hell, he's describing a wake-up call. The greatest weight, as he called it, is the crushing idea of repeating the same unexamined life over and over because of the values you've inherited instead of chosen. The point of this thought experiment is to ask yourself, do you genuinely find your life meaningful? Or are you just performing roles prescribed by others? If your current existence feels unworthy of eternal repetition, it's likely you haven't defined your own values. You're still operating under the influence of your society, or worse, under the illusions you've sold yourself. If you keep reliving the same cycles, enduring the same pain, making the same decisions that leave you feeling empty, you may be trapped by unexamined assumptions. And until you reassess what guides your choices, you remain undeveloped, not yet your own person. But once you start challenging the foundations of your morality, you can begin to lift that greatest weight. Think about how often you've let someone manipulate or gaslight you simply because you wanted to avoid confrontation. Or how many times have you or a friend admitted, I keep dating the same kind of person with the same problems? That pattern only exists because you've never questioned the values you were handed. When you act out of a need to appear good by conventional standards, you trap yourself. You're not doing what's right, you're doing what's expected. Nietzsche encourages us to ask in every moment, do I want to live this again and again? If your answer is no, then your values need to change. Real morality isn't about obeying pre-made definitions of right and wrong. It's about breaking out of the mental prison we've built for ourselves, a prison shaped by cultural expectations. Most people never escape that cell. They find comfort in the rules and routines, even though it deadens their spirit. Nietzsche saw this and believed we have the power to break out. To become your own person, you need to transform. That means going through a kind of rebellion, not necessarily loud or violent, but intentional and bold. It might involve distancing yourself from people or situations that inhibit your freedom. This doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be a steady, deliberate process. You can start by making a list of everything and everyone who seems to limit your ability to live authentically. It might be an unwritten rule at work. It might be a partner who tries to control you. It might be parents or friends who judge your behavior. Then come up with solutions. Maybe it's an honest conversation with your spouse, a meeting with your boss, or simply surrounding yourself with people who accept you. When you feel burdened by Nietzsche's greatest weight, don't shrink back. Don't hide from your dreams. Use it as a sign. It's time to break out of the cage you've built with the herd and pursue the life that brings meaning to you. If you found value in this video, please consider visiting our channel. And for more insights on how ancient philosophy can help you find purpose and joy, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.